Okay, welcome to Diary of a Dragon Priestess, and my name is Yolandi, and I'm your host. So, today's theme for the podcast is discernment. And I'm sure, as you all know, unless you're living under a rock in space somewhere, the world is busy burning and shit is going down, and so many things are happening, so many things are being revealed, and so many things are being shown to us and coming out of the woodwork, and crazy decisions on global levels are being made, affecting every single one of us. And I wanted to just drop in today because obviously everything feels really overwhelming at the moment, and there are so many opinions out there, and there's so many feelings, and if you tune into like the energy of the collective at the moment, it's just like these waves of like fear and anxiety and harshness that is basically surrounding us all the time. And I wanted to just speak today a little bit about like discernment and how that connects to our bodies and how that connects to our sovereignty. And I thought I'd start with a little story just about something that was really interesting for me this weekend, which kind of like led me to this. And I was in London on the weekend, so I went to go and meet my one of my really close friends. She lives there, and then on Monday night, I went to go see Liz Gilbert speak about her new book as well, which was absolutely brilliant. And while I was there, I was able to find some time because my friend's busy studying at the moment. So Monday I had to myself, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go to all the places, right? So I wanted to go to the British Museum because there were some things that I'm really interested in and that I'm investigating at the moment, that I wanted to go and look at some artifacts. And I wanted to go and check these things out. And obviously, so as I walk into the museum, there is one of the massive statues that from Easter Island that is there, and standing right in the entrance hall as I walk in, and I'm just like, when something just hits you and you go, fuck. So I go to the statue, and a few months ago we actually had a discussion with another friend about this statue, and I'm like, oh my god, here it is. And so I obviously stood there, I took it all in, and then I started reading the little placard thingies that's at the bottom, right? And they were writing about the fact that they are in discussions with these people. They wrote the story of how they came about this and how it was basically taken in the 1800s and brought back to Britain as a gift for the Queen, and she then gave it to the British Museum. And basically about like how they're in discussions now, because obviously the guys want it back, which, I mean, it's theirs, right? And so firstly, like walking into the museum, and you just start looking, and you're going, okay, well, that was stolen from there, that was taken from there, that was plundered from there. So you really like have this overwhelming feeling of like all of these incredible pieces of history that's in this huge building that made its way there, not always in the most savory of ways, right? Like not in the best possible way. And I was just like, I'm very grateful to be able to see these artifacts, but I'm also very aware of the fucked upness of how it got there, right? So again, like my body is split in two because I'm like, shit, I get to see this. Fuck, how did it get here, right? So it was an interesting place within myself to be kind of like torn, because to witness a piece of the history of like Gilgamesh, right? Like a piece of like rock that is literally 5,000 years old, that's got the first human writing on it, right? Like, and you just like, this is absolutely insane. My goodness, humans are amazing. And then you're like, oh my God, some arsehole burned some place down and stole this, right? So anyway, so that evening I saw my friend. So before we saw Liz Gilbert, and she's busy doing her master's. She's doing an art master's. And so I told her about this experience, and she was like, oh, wow. She's a very wise friend. I really love spending time with her. And she was saying to me, about part of their studies at the college that she's doing this degree at, was to look at like colonization of art and artifacts and all of that type of stuff. And she said it was really interesting because they had met a delegation from Kenya who had come to look at certain artifacts that had been taken, and whether, you know, like to witness it, to see it in the space where it was held, and then to have talks about what to do with these artifacts. So do they take it back to Kenya? Do they keep it there, etc.? And the outcome of the discussions was basically that these people had asked the museum to keep the artifacts. And so I was like, wow. So they traveled all the way there. They had this discussion. This is, you know, from their native land. This is like from their ancestors, etc. And she said, yes, but their argument was that they didn't have anywhere safe to keep this, and they wouldn't be able to maintain the integrity. They didn't have the right technology to look after this. They didn't have a safe space to keep this, etc. So they then basically decided to keep it there so that it would be preserved. And I was just like, oh, wow, that's a completely different like view. So I kind of stepped back and I'm like, so how many of the pieces in the museum are there to be preserved? How many of the pieces are there willingly, you know, and other pieces are being held hostage, right? So you've got this like two sides of the coin. And I was just like, wow. So, you know, I can't just take my little blanket paintbrush and put it over everything in the museum and go, all of this is bad. Because some tribes have asked for things to be kept there so that it can stay safe and educate people and be studied and shared. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So there's another story. Even though then later on, like walking past other stuff in that day, again seeing you've been in discussions for 7 years and you're holding on to this still, these people actually want it back. You could read from the inscription that they want it back. So there's these two worlds, right? And so it just made me think about like where we are at present in the world, because it's such a confusing time. Because even having spoken to my friend who is Iranian and busy, like obviously on the weekend there were the bombs flying, all of that type of stuff, and she kept saying, yes, but there's half of me feels this and half of me feels that. And I was just like, oh my goodness, again, there's this like split within so many people at the moment, because we are seeing things being exposed in the Epstein files, and then you're going, oh my God, and then, you know, then there's other thoughts about it, and it's like everything is basically polarized. Everything is, there's a duality to everything, right? There's different stories, there's so much nuance, there's all of these things. And what do I believe? Like, what do I feel? Where do I go for what's real and what's not? Because we're also being bombarded with so many opinions, and like this one saying that, and if you're not doing this, then you're that. And so there's this divisiveness as well, right? So all of it feels very like huge at the moment. All of it feels like so much information, and our poor systems are going, oh my God, like we've literally never been in a space in time where so much is being thrown at us. So of course you're going to be fucking overwhelmed. Of course you're going to be, you know, going, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to believe. I don't know how to feel about this, you know, because there isn't even time. There isn't even time to sit and process. What do I feel about this person having done that or said that or being exposed in that file, or, you know, there isn't even time, because then the next thing hits and the next thing hits. And then I thought to myself, well, isn't this clever? Like all of this information is stopping me from actually making a decision about stuff or having my own thoughts and feelings. And it might be that I have very strong feelings about certain things, and other things I'm just like, fuck, I don't know. But for me, what this little encounter on this weekend showed me is that there's so much nuance, there's so much information, and I have to come back in here to see, like, what do I feel about it? Okay, every single thing on a case-by-case basis. And I'm also going to say that we don't need to have an opinion about everything. Some things are just fucked up and it is what it is. Some things I can't do anything about that, and I'm not connected to it. So this isn't a you need to save everything or have an opinion about everything. But I feel like it's a moment to actually go, well, where's my discernment? Where is it that I feel I want to get involved? I want to speak up. Where is it where I'm like, actually, I don't have the energy to even like understand this or go for that? Because certain things matter and certain things don't. And I feel like this information age that we live in, we are being held hostage in this space of like, what's your opinion about this? What do you feel about that? Do you know about this? Have you done that? Are you listening to the news? Da, 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 da. No, none of this shit fucking, like, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, it is, what can you manage? What can your nervous system manage? What do you feel is important? What is it that you want? Where do you want to put your attention? Not about what the people out there are saying, what everyone on Instagram is telling you to do. Okay, so part of this discernment concept that I'm trying to like explain is that the more you are inside of yourself and inside of your being, the more you can step back out of the chaos and out of the noise and go, I'm choosing to put my attention here. I'm choosing to put my attention here. Okay, you don't have to have your attention there, because it's almost like the more your attention is out there so much, the less you're in here. Okay, because it's a great way to stop us from being fucking sovereign, isn't it? Just give you as much shit to focus on, and then you're never going to be in here. You're never going to listen to yourself, because you're going to take A's opinion and B's opinion and C's opinion and never have a Yolandi opinion. Okay, so the point of the discussion is, how do I come back into me and go, okay, I see all of this stuff in front of me, and I'm going to choose what feels good. I'm going to choose what it is that I want to invest my energy in, because you've only got finite energy. Okay, you don't have enough energy to be connected to every single fucking shit show that is out there at the moment. You don't. Like, it is physically impossible. You've got to work, you've got to make money, you've got to look after your family, you've got to look after yourself, right? There's a billion things to do. And then like social media, news, manicness, madness, all of that stuff. So it is almost a call back into here to say, what am I going to choose that I want to focus on? Not what they say to me I should be, what anyone else is trying to guilt me into feeling, because there is so much. There's just so much. So this is a call back into you to say, take a moment, okay? What if right now, listening to me, maybe you're having a cup of tea whilst we're having this little, connection of energy here. What if you just took a moment right now and decided on the one thing that you can give your attention to? Okay, the one thing that you want to give your attention to at this point in time. Because you are not a robot, you are not a machine, you are not meant. Our bodies on an evolutionary scale was never meant to be this wired, okay? Our brains are busy developing and our brains are going to be able to do certain things, but it's almost like we've passed the threshold of what is actually capable for our brains to deal with. And the more noise we're pumping into the system, the less this is actually in a good place. And the minute that my brain is going into that space, it fucks with my hormones, it fucks with my nervous system, it messes everything up. We start getting more and more and more diseases that we don't understand because our bodies are fatigued. Okay, because our brains are fucked, our brains are fried. They just like basically going, can you just stop watching the news and being on your phone and just sit and stare at a tree for 3 minutes, okay? Because everything is so frenetic. So take a moment right now just to take a breath with me, because you can feel the energy as I'm speaking about that. Like, it's like the whole room goes, ah! So let's take a breath. Let's take a deep breath in right now. And let it out. Okay. And now that moment, okay, so as you're sat here, I just want you to become aware of like, what does your body feel like? I know I've been asking this a lot over the last few weeks, but like how much buzzing is happening inside of you right now? How much movement is there on your nervous system level? If you had to take a moment to imagine your current state of your nervous system right now, if you could imagine a picture, a feeling, just a word for it, what would it be? Beautiful. So I'm just going to encourage you to take a few more breaths in. And every breath that you take, see how it goes into that beautiful nervous system of yours. I love how my guides are literally saying to me, your breath is a balm. Like it's like a softener. It's like the most beautiful hug you can give your body. Is just by being present with your breath. Okay. And just feel how all of what is happening outside of you is just out there. None of it's in this space. None of it's in this beautiful little space of your energy body right now. It's just you and your breath, and me and your nervous system. We're just hanging out. We're just taking a moment just to be. Because we can. Because we need to. Because we want to. Because you are choosing you for a minute with me. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Now, I want you to just keep your eyes closed for a moment. And I'm just going to ask you one question, because I feel like if you can start to practice this, if you can start to understand this, just one little step at a time, you can move to a place of discernment, like real discernment. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you one question, and I want you to please focus on the first thing that comes up for you. The first feeling, the first thought, the first vision, whatever it is for you. Every single one of us perceives things differently. Our body speaks to us in a unique way. So when I say to you, where does discernment live inside of your body? Where's your voice of discernment? First thing that comes up. Don't try and overthink it. Don't try and rationalize it. Don't try and say, it needs to be in my gut because that's what it is. No, sometimes our discernment sits in our heart. Sometimes it's in my throat. Sometimes it's in my belly, right? Like my discernment sits in this weird space, like underneath my ribs, right? Like it's this feeling. It's like that's where my nose are, right? Now, what's important, and I love how I've discovered this through like my discussions with my friends and stuff, my discernment is always like, it will be a very sharp no. And my discernment is based very much on what is safe for me. Okay, so if I'm like, fuck, no, we're not doing that, then you know. Most of the time I'm a yes. For most things I'm a yes. humans that's a bit fucked up, I'm like, oh, okay, you do you, it's just like, it's that like nature of mine where give everyone a chance, shame, poor soul needs to learn lessons, blah, blah, blah. Right. But there's certain things where I'm like, a fuck no, I'm not this. Okay. So my discernment can be like completely different to where my friends will be like, nope, 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 and I'll be like, nah, whatever. So I feel like it's different for every single one of us. But that moment when you walked into a room and something was like a hell no. That moment when you've seen something online and you just went, whoa, that makes me feel sick. That is a no, right? Like, when you've seen that person, you're like, that one is dodgy as fuck, right? Like, it's just like, and that sits in your body somewhere. Amidst the noise, amidst the madness of this world, there's a feeling deep inside of you, which is your compass and your radar. And it's like, nope, this is not good for me. I'm not meant to be involved in this. Okay. But because it's so noisy and because we are constantly on our screens, we're constantly not focusing or breathing or taking a moment to be in a space where it's calm and quiet, we don't listen to that voice. We can't hear it. Okay. And I mean, the world's designed for you not to hear anything that's going on in here. The world's designed for you to constantly listen to everyone, including me. Like, it's designed for that. That's why I'm making you be quiet right now. That's why I'm asking you to just be like, this is my discernment. Okay? Because this little thing, this little feeling inside of your body that's wanting to connect with you and talk with you and share with you and go, no, not so much. That's the thing that will guide you to where you need to put your attention to and where you need to remove your attention from. Okay, so when you switch on the TV and you put the news on and that little thing inside of you is going, not today, switch the TV off. Please don't switch it on or change the channel. Okay, if you're picking up your phone and there's someone that you're following that doesn't feel good to you anymore, say no. Okay. If there's some stuff that you're reading that is making you feel uncomfortable, say no. Okay, part of sovereignty, part of coming back to who we are, is us being able to say no. Even if it's someone that you've been following for years, right? If it doesn't feel right now, say no. Okay. I mean, there's so many examples now of, spiritual leaders falling and like us going, oh my God, that, people used to love this person and now that, like, there's reasons for this. So start listening, okay? See what it feels like for you. There might be things that the world is saying that you're just going, no, I don't agree with the rest of the world. And that's okay. You're allowed your own opinion. You're allowed to think what you think. You're allowed to feel what you feel, okay? But trust this, okay? When I was in that museum, some things felt really dodgy. Other things didn't feel dodgy. And yet, like, I needed to understand that actually there's nuance in everything, okay? There's a different story. Every single thing there held a story of what its truth was. And what was I tuning into? I was tuning into the sadness of that statue wanting to go home, okay? But there were other things that was meant to be there, to help me and to educate me again. But it's all about, like, what's my body saying, okay? And so when we start to understand that there's different aspects and different levels, we can also drop into this more. We can understand like why this is feeling like it's feeling. That's why my body's doing what she's doing. Okay, so, right. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that you will continue to practice, okay? That little exercise of just getting quiet, taking a few deep breaths in, and starting to ask questions of your body is the most powerful thing you can ever do. And I will be banging on about this forever and ever till I die. So if you don't like it, please unsubscribe right now, because I'm not going to fucking stop talking about it amidst everything else that I talk about anyway. But yes, so on that note, just stay in that space of self-connection, step back out of the noise, and allow yourself to lead yourself. You don't have to do any of this like anyone else is doing this, okay? You don't have to speak up if you don't want to speak up. You don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to be in the know about every fucking thing that's happening in the world. You don't have to, okay? You do you. Your nervous system might be in a space where it can't handle all of this, and you know what? That is okay. Because I'm telling you now, there's a fuck ton of other nervous systems who are not designed for this. We have not evolved fast enough to cater for what we are being given on a technological front. We have not, okay? So all of us are playing catch up. All of us are not created, designed, evolved to the point of where our environments are. There's a disparity. And so you have to choose, okay? I choose me. I choose me. I choose to stay sane. I choose to be out in nature. I choose to not be connected all the time. I choose that because I see what's happening, okay? And it's more important for me to be stable within myself than to be up to date with the news or what's happening out there. Because you know what? 2,000 years ago, I wouldn't have had a fucking clue about what was happening on the other side of the equator. I would not have known, and that would have been okay, right? So just because you know now doesn't mean you need to get involved. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Understand that this is a place for you to choose. And if you choose not to agree with anything that I've said today, awesome, okay? If you feel that you need to know everything, awesome. There's no judgment. This is the point. It's your sovereignty. You decide how you want to do life. This is my choice. You might not agree with it, right? I might not agree with your choice, but at the end of the day, we're all going to do life like we need to do life. And that's okay. And if we could just be in acceptance of everyone else as we are in acceptance of ourselves, this will be a really, really different place. Okay. So I'm sending you all the love in the world and all the acceptance and all the non-judgment. So choose what you need to choose for you at this point in time in this crazy motherfucking world. Because it is a madhouse out there. But I want you to focus on you right now, because that's where we start. Every big revolution, every big change, every new era, every new earth started with us here making choices. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to stop yapping now. Have a fantastic week. I'm sending you so much love and like all of the grace for this mad time that we're in. And just look after yourself, keep breathing, keep stepping back, keep checking in. Okay, fantastic. Have a beautiful, beautiful week.